Rich people, when did you realize you were actually poor? The strangest thing about being poor is that people assume you think about money all the time. And they're right, but not in the way most people imagine. When you're truly struggling, you don't sit around dreaming about yachts or mansions. You think about things most people never even notice. Whether the electricity bill can wait another week, whether the milk will last until payday, whether your kids' shoes can survive one more month before the solace finally give out, you become an expert at stretching things. Food, gas, patience, hope, especially hope. And for most of my life, that's exactly what I did. I stretched hope as far as it would go. After my wife died, it was just me and my son. No dramatic inheritance, no life insurance miracle. No secret savings account, just a small apartment, a mountain of bills, and a scared little boy who suddenly didn't understand why mom wasn't coming home anymore. At first, I thought I could handle everything. Most parents do. You tell yourself you'll figure it out. Work harder, sleep less, make sacrifices, somehow make it all work. Then reality arrives, and reality is expensive. I worked construction during the day and picked up extra jobs whenever I could, weekends, evenings, holidays. If someone needed help moving furniture, I was there. If somebody needed a fence built, I was there. If somebody needed a garage cleaned out, I was there. I wasn't building a future, I was plugging holes in a sinking ship. And every month felt like another battle just to stay afloat. My son, Ethan, never complained. That's what made it worse. Kids are supposed to complain. They're supposed to ask for expensive toys and ridiculous things. But after losing his mother, Ethan became painfully aware of our situation. Too aware. Whenever he wanted something, he'd first ask, "Is it expensive?" No child should have to think like that. The jacket situation started during winter. At first it was one small tear. Nothing serious, I sewed it. A week later another tear appeared, then another, then another. Eventually I noticed the damage wasn't normal. Kids are rough on clothes, but this was different. The tears kept appearing in places that made no sense. Sleeves, back panels, pockets, almost like someone was grabbing him. One evening, I finally asked him directly, "What's happening to your jacket?" He avoided eye contact. That told me everything. Eventually the truth came out. Some boys at school had been picking on him. Not because he was mean, not because he caused trouble. Because kids can be cruel for absolutely no reason. They mocked his clothes, his shoes, the fact that I drove an old truck, anything they could find. And when words got boring, they started damaging his things. I wanted to march into that school immediately. I wanted names, parents, addresses, consequences. But Ethan begged me not to, so instead, I did what every struggling parent does. I tried to solve the problem with the resources I had, which wasn't much. A few days later, I stopped at a thrift store after work, the kind of place where every purchase feels like a small victory. The employee behind the counter mentioned all jackets were the same price that week. $10. I remember thinking, maybe today's my lucky day. I spent almost an hour searching through racks. Most were worn out, some had stains, others were missing buttons. Then I found it, a black designer jacket. Clean, modern, almost new. The label said Marc Jacobs, even I recognized that name. A quick search on my phone showed similar jackets selling for hundreds of dollars. I couldn't believe it, for $10. Driving home, I felt excited, not because it was expensive. Because for once I could give Ethan something nice, something other kids wouldn't mock. Something that might help him feel confident again. That excitement alone was worth more than the jacket. When he opened it, his face lit up immediately. "Dad." Seriously, he couldn't stop smiling. He put it on instantly, turned around, checked himself in every mirror. For the first time in months, he looked proud of something he owned. That made every penny worth it. Later that evening, I noticed something odd. The label looked strange. Not obviously fake, just slightly off. I checked again, Marc Jacobs. With a K, not a C. I laughed, of course. My amazing designer bargain was counterfeit. For a second I considered returning it. $10 mattered. Every dollar mattered, but then I remembered Ethan's smile. That settled the matter immediately. The jacket was staying, fake or not. That night, after he went to bed, I decided to repair the label, not because I cared about the brand. Because I worried some kid would notice and start bullying him again. Kids can detect weakness, like sharks smell blood. While examining the jacket, I checked the pockets, mostly out of habit. People leave things in thrift store donations all the time. Receipts, gum wrappers, notes, nothing unusual. At first that's exactly what I found. A few old receipts, some folded papers. Then something else, a lottery ticket. I almost threw it away. Honestly, it looked old. Wrinkled, forgotten, the kind of thing people accidentally leave behind constantly. But then curiosity got me. I opened the lottery app, scanned the barcode, and watched the screen load. Then load again, then freeze. I frowned. The app suddenly displayed a customer service number. That seemed strange, so I entered the ticket manually. The result appeared instantly, and for several seconds my brain refused to process it. Prize value, $500,000. I stared at the screen, then the ticket, then the screen again. My hands actually started shaking. $500,000. $500,000. The number felt unreal. Like a typo, like a mistake. Like something that happened to other people, not people like me. I checked again, and again, and again. Same result, every time. The ticket was real. The ticket was unclaimed, and somehow ... The ticket was sitting in my kitchen. That night I barely slept. Every problem in my life suddenly had a solution. Mortgage, debt, college, medical bills, retirement, everything. For the first time in years, I could actually breathe. The next morning, I began researching how to claim it. That's when everything changed, because while searching online, I found local posts, dozens of them, community pages, neighborhood groups, news comments, all talking about the same thing. An elderly man named Mr. Holden had lost a winning lottery ticket. The details matched perfectly. The date, the drawing, the amount, everything. Apparently he believed he'd accidentally left the ticket inside a donated jacket. And now people were helping him search for it. I sat there staring at the screen, feeling sick, because suddenly the ticket wasn't just a ticket anymore. It belonged to someone, a real person, someone desperately trying to find it. For the rest of the day, I argued with myself. Nobody would know, that's the truth, nobody. The ticket was legally mine. I had purchased the jacket. Found the ticket, possession was possession. People would understand, most people would keep it. Honestly, I understood why, because I needed that money, desperately, but every time I looked at Ethan, another thought appeared. What kind of lesson would that teach him? That integrity matters until it becomes expensive. That honesty only counts when nothing valuable is at stake. That's not how I wanted him to grow up. So I made the call. Mr. Holden answered personally. His voice sounded exhausted, hopeful, terrified, all at once. When I explained who I was, he started crying before I even finished the sentence. We arranged a meeting for the next day. The drive there felt longer than any drive of my life. Because every mile carried away $500,000, every turn, every stoplight, every second. His home was modest. Old, well cared for. The kind of house built through decades of hard work. When the door opened, I immediately understood why the ticket mattered so much. A woman sat nearby connected to oxygen equipment, his daughter. She greeted me with a smile so warm it instantly made everything harder. Because suddenly, it wasn't about money anymore. It was about people. We talked for nearly an hour. About family, about life, about Ethan. About her treatments, about hope. Not once did they pressure me. Not once did they guilt me. They were simply grateful. Finally I removed the ticket from my wallet and handed it over. Mr. Holden stared at it silently. Then hugged me. Hard. Neither of us said much. There wasn't really anything to say. When I got home that night, Ethan asked where I'd been. I told him I helped somebody. Nothing more. After he went to sleep, I sat alone in the dark, and for the first time in years ... I cried. Not because I'd lost money. Because I'd come so close to becoming someone I didn't want to be. I kept reminding myself I'd done the right thing. That character mattered. That values mattered. That being able to look yourself in the mirror mattered. Still, I'm human, and $500,000 is $500,000. A few days later, a letter arrived. No return address, just my name. Inside was a check. $350,000. I genuinely thought it was fake. Along with it was a handwritten note. My daughter's treatment is secure. Our future is secure. You returned something most people wouldn't. Please allow us to help secure yours too. Thank you. I read the note 3 times. Then 5. Then 10. And once again ... I cried. Not because of the money. Not entirely. Because for the first time in a very long time, life had rewarded kindness instead of punishing it. The money changed everything. Debt disappeared. We moved into a better home. I started saving for Ethan's future. For emergencies, for college, for life. But I never told him the whole story. Not the amount, not the reward, not the check. Because I don't want him growing up believing good deeds or investments, they aren't. You do the right thing because it's right. Not because you're hoping the universe pays you back. Someday I'll tell him. When he's older, when he understands. But for now, all he knows is that honesty matters. Integrity matters, character matters, and yes. These days he goes to school wearing a real Marc Jacobs jacket, not because we can finally afford one, but because every time I see him wearing it, I remember the day I discovered something important. I thought I was poor because I didn't have money. I was wrong. The moment I was tempted to keep that ticket ... and chose not to ... I realized I was richer than I ever believed.